Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pre-Leg 1 Press Training. I'm Mr. Goodwin, and I'm the head advisor for the program. I'm going to kind of run you through here this set of slides, kind of informing you of what you're going to be doing today. As you're sitting here, I'd ask if anybody in the room who's participating in this training has been in the program before, and if you have, you can probably provide some very good guidance to the people who are new. So, as with anything, anybody with experience can really help you through. So don't hesitate to ask anybody who's been part of the press program before, and they can help guide you through this if you have any questions. I just want to give you also a heads up that, as you can see from the website where you access this training, you probably also noticed that there's slides. These slides are also available without this audio, so you can kind of flip through to reread or to see things that you might have missed. The goals for today are pretty basic. One, turning in your non-candidate interview story, and for the most part, I believe I received most of those from your advisors. So if you know you didn't turn one in, please email it to me. My email is on the screen, or have your advisor email it to me. If you've already sent it to me, you'll be getting it back shortly with some comments. I also want to discuss today what is the role of the press and youth in government, and what to do at your pre-leg. And also, your main goal is to research and write a legislation story that will be submitted before pre-leg 2. So, if anything, that's the big goal that you want to try to accomplish today. If you have any questions during the pre-leg, I will be periodically checking my email tonight. If it's during the day. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Your advisor can try sending me a text message. They have my phone number. And if you have any questions afterwards, I will send you an email responding to you. So, as I've said in the beginning, see if you find somebody in the program who's been here before who can help you. If not, like I said, the stuff on here should be self-explanatory. Okay, the non-candidate interview story that you turned in to me, I'm asking that you follow the youth and government format. And the youth and government format is having a certain heading at the top with your name, the description of your story, the number of words in the story, as far as your YMCA and what school you're from, as well as the people who are identified in the story, as you can see in the top right. Also, when you write these types of stories, keep your paragraphs short. For every type of journalistic story we're going to be writing in this program, you'll want to keep your paragraphs really tight and really short. Also, let your interviewee speak. Let the people you're talking to do most of the talking. You shouldn't be editorializing. You should just be reporting what they say. And as it says on here, email me a copy if you haven't already. All right. So we're moving on to what's happening today. You're going through training, as if you didn't know already. Legislators are introducing their bills for the first time today, and that's why you're going to be writing a legislation story to start. And every other part of the program is getting specialized help. This is kind of like their first introduction to elements of the program. And as it says there in bold print, your main job is just to get the information to write a legislation story. That's your big task today. Okay, first thing, you should have a document in the packet there from your section advisor that has the list of bills that are being debated today. And if you'll notice, they'll have a number, and they'll tell you what school it's from, and they'll give you a brief summary of what the bill is about. You need to pick one of these pieces of legislation that you're going to cover. Please try not to pick a piece of legislation from your school. Now, in years past, we've had coverage in press from very few schools. We've had a lot of press people, but they've all come from the same schools. So if you find that you're sitting around with classmates only, go ahead, cover one or two bills from your school so we at least get some coverage there. But don't have everybody cover bills from their same school. We want to get some legislation coverage from other parts of the program as well, from just your individual school. So as you look at this piece of paper, pick something that you find interesting that you want to cover. The main thing is to get one bill. All right, and that's all I really want you to focus on. I guess if you have some time, you could find two, but right now, your main thing is to find one bill, and check that you are not doing the same bill as somebody else in the room. So somebody in there should probably be documenting which bills are being taken. If you have an advisor in there, that could be his or her job to take a look at which bills are being covered. But everybody should be doing a different bill. Once you have your bill chosen, then you're going to be moving into the next stage of the game, which I'm calling the game plan. You need to develop a list of questions that you're going to ask in order to write this story. And the questions are basically, why do they write the bill? What does the bill propose to do? How do they propose to accomplish this? And what kind of effect do they think this is going to have in Springfield when they propose it during the legislative session? Is it going to pass? Is it going to have opposition? Is it going to be supported? And you need to ask the writers of the bills these questions. Now, each bill will have several sponsors, so there'll be more than one person involved with that. Some bills will have a lobbyist assigned to the bill, and you need to find these people. I'll talk about later in the presentation how you find these people, but that's something that you need to do. You need to locate these individuals. But write the list of questions out. Don't just say, oh, I've got a list of questions in my mind, I'll ask them this. Please write them out, and when you interview them, be sure to document their answers exactly as they responded. Don't paraphrase, don't guess. Write down word for word what they say. If you want to record them, that is fine. Just ask for their permission to record them, and then you can transcribe the audio later. But we go for exact quotes. Also, when you're interviewing them, as we'll talk about in the next training about writing the legislation story, names are important. Spell them correctly. Find out where they're from. Make sure you get all the spellings exactly. Do not allow them to run away and say, I'll text you the answer later. Get the information before you leave today. Where do you find these people? You're going to find them in committees. You should have a schedule that says where the committees are meeting and where the bills are being debated within those committees. So you find your bill number, you find the committee number, and then you go to that room when the bills are being debated. So your job is to get in that room when that bill is going to be discussed, and that should be on that location and assignment sheet that you should receive when you come into the program. So locate the bill, and then look on the schedule, and when that bill is being debated, you need to be in the room where it's being debated. There's an agenda that tells you the times of the debates. Usually after this first training session, you're off to the committees, so you can go right away and go in, sit down, find a spot, and get ready to write your story. Now, a couple things you can do in committee. Number one, you can't talk. You can't enter the debate. Okay, so that's kind of important. Don't get up there and start chiming in to what they're saying. You can't take notes or digitally record. Everything that's said in committee is public record. So you don't have to ask can I record this committee? You can record the committee. That's perfectly fine. Just remember also that you shouldn't be directly campaigning for anybody as well. You're the press. You're supposed to remain impartial. So no buttons, no stickers. Make sure you take those off before you go in committee. As you're quoting somebody, as you're getting information, please make sure you get the name of the person you are quoting or getting the information. You need that person's full name spelled correctly, their YMCA and high school, and what job they are in the program. So when you write it in your stories, it's going to be like Jane Doe, lobbyist from B.R. Ryle, Wheaton, Warrenville South, said blah, blah, blah. That's how we kind of preface most of our quotations in the program. So that's the information you need to get before you leave the committee. Number 3 is a big one. You can pull people out of committees. So if you don't want to sit there and just listen to what's going on, you can find the sponsor of your bill. Just ask who's sponsoring this bill and say, can I please speak with you in the hallway? And they can leave committee and you can speak to them in the hall. Please identify yourself as a press member. Have your questions ready, and then if you need to get somebody else out, get somebody else out. But be polite about it. If the advisor in the committee says they can't leave right now, that's fine. Come back later, or sit in the committee and listen to what is said. Also, keep in mind that anything said in committee is something that you can use in your articles. So don't be afraid to jot down some things people say during the committee meetings. What you see on this slide is basically the same thing I said earlier about finding somebody. You're going to have to find them. The next thing, once you find them, is you need to get the copy of what they call the bill brief. And there's a sample right there, and there's also a sample on the website I sent you. This is their legislation. This is what it's trying to do. You have to get a copy of this before you go. If they don't have an extra copy, they should. If they don't, ask an advisor to make a copy for you. So when you write the article, you can use this as to quote, according to the bill brief, according to the bill the sponsors wrote. You can use it as a citable source. So as the last bullet point says, do not leave pre-leg 1 without a copy of the bill brief you're writing about. That's pretty much cardinal rule number 1. All right. After the committee, after you talk to the sponsors, heard the debate about your bill, I want you to wander around and get some statements about other people, from other people, I should say. Say, so and so's this group is trying to sponsor a bill to make no one pay income tax in Illinois, and get their opinion. What do you think? See what they say. Get about 10 or 12 people to comment about the legislation. Good quotations. Make sure you quote them accurately. If you're recording them, that's fine. Be sure that you get their names, what they do in the program, and their why and their school. Those are the 4 things for everybody you talk to. You have to get full names, spelled correctly. What job are you? What school do you belong to? And what YMCA is that involved with? So ask those people what they think, and then you're pretty much ready to go. So you should have the following when you're ready to write: a copy of the bill brief, statements from the bill sponsors and lobbyists if there's